And I may do that for Greenland too. I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security. So I may do that.
President Donald Trump has officially issued an ultimatum to 8 of America's closest European allies: help the U.S. acquire Greenland or prepare for a massive trade war. Starting in February, countries like the UK, Germany, and France will be hit with a 10% tax on everything they sell to America, a tax that jumps to 25% by June. While the White House insists this is about building a Golden Dome missile shield to keep the world safe, European leaders are calling it blackmail, leaving the future of the Western alliance hanging by a thread. Picture Greenland. It's massive, 3 times the size of Texas, but home to just 56,000 people, mostly Inuit folks who love their independence. It's part of Denmark, but runs its own local stuff. Why does the US care? This story goes way back. In 1867, the US thought about buying it after getting Alaska. During World War II, America built bases there to fight Nazis. In 1946, President Truman offered Denmark cash, a lot of it, but they said no. Then, in the 1950s, the US set up Patuxent Space Base, once called Thule, for watching missiles and space during the Cold War. But in 2019, Trump tweets and said he wants to buy Greenland like it's real estate. Denmark laughs it off as absurd. The idea faded down, but now in 2026, after Trump's re-election, it's back. Why? The Arctic is heating up. Ice is melting, opening new paths and resources. Russia and China are moving in, and Trump says the US needs full control. But Denmark and Greenland say, it is not for sale. On January 17, 2026, just 2 days ago, Trump posts on Truth Social and said, tariffs are coming. Starting February 1st, a 10% tax on all goods from 8 European countries: Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Germany, France, the Netherlands, and the UK. If they don't agree to sell Greenland by June 1st, it jumps to 25%. Trump calls these NATO friends freeloaders, blocking US safety. Why these nations? It is because they've sent troops to Greenland for exercises, showing support for Denmark. This could mean higher prices for you. Think pricier German cars, French wine, or Danish medicine. Experts say the US might gain $5 to $10 billion at first, but losses could hit $20 billion if Europe fights back. Europe hit back hard and fast. 8 countries released a joint statement accusing the move of being blackmail. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said Greenland was not for sale and stressed that her country would not be intimidated.
Everybody has to respect the sovereignty of all national states in the world, and that Greenland is today a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. It's a part of our territory, and it's not for sale. The chairman, the leader of Greenland, has been very clear that they are not for sale.
French President Emmanuel Macron warned that the European Union could use its so-called trade bazooka, referring to measures that could block US exports or investments. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer called Donald Trump and said the move would damage NATO. The European Union signaled it was preparing large-scale counter-tariffs, potentially affecting up to 93 billion euros in US goods, including soybeans and technology.
Alliances endure because they're built on respect and partnership, not pressure. That is why I said the use of tariffs against allies is completely wrong.
Street protests erupted in Greenland and Denmark, where demonstrators chanted "not for sale." Greenland's leader expressed gratitude for European support and highlighted the rights of indigenous communities. While the response underscored European unity, it remained unclear whether it would alter President Trump's stance. Why does the US want this so badly? First, military power. Greenland sits in the perfect spot between the US and Europe, controlling the North Atlantic. The US base at Pituffik already spots Russian missiles and tracks space junk. But Russia has over 50 Arctic bases with super-fast weapons nearby. China is building Polar Silk Road projects for influence. Trump says full US ownership means better defense. No rivals sneaking in. It's like owning the front door to the Arctic. Second, riches underground. As ice melts, Greenland reveals massive rare earth minerals, stuff needed for phones, electric cars, wind power, and even weapons. It has 10 to 20% of the world's supply. Right now, China controls 80%, and the US wants to break that hold. Plus, there's uranium, gold, zinc, a gold mine for jobs and independence from enemies. Third, new sea routes. Climate change is melting Arctic ice 80% faster since 1980. Soon, the Northwest Passage opens, a shortcut from Asia to Europe, cutting thousands of miles off trips. Greenland is key to controlling these paths, worth trillions in trade. Who owns it gets the edge. Fourth, future-proofing. Greenland's melting ice raises sea levels worldwide. 20% comes from there. US control means top research spots and claiming the land before others do. Trump sees it as America first. Denmark can't protect it alone, he argues. But critics say current deals already give the US access. This is about total takeover. Because of this, the European stocks drop 2 to 3%. US car shares slip. Gold hits $2,800 an ounce as people seek safety. Bitcoin falls 5% too. In the United States, many people were not on board. Senators from both parties, including Tom Tillis and Lisa Murkowski, warned the move could hurt jobs and weaken NATO. A group of lawmakers traveled to Denmark to try to calm tensions. Polls showed only 17% of Americans supported buying Greenland. On social media, #NotForSale spread quickly. Some people praised President Trump's tough stance, while others called it bullying. In Greenland, most people were strongly against the idea, with surveys showing 75 to 85% said no. So what happens next? The clock is ticking toward February 1st, when tariffs are set to take effect unless a deal is reached. Europe has vowed to respond in kind, raising the risk of a trade war that could cost billions and drive up prices worldwide. NATO could be weakened, potentially giving Russia and China greater room to maneuver in the Arctic. Denmark and Greenland have made their position clear. There will be no sale without a fight, and any use of force would violate international law. But talks at Davos could still cool tensions. In the best-case scenario, a new agreement is reached on sharing resources. In the worst case, divisions deepen, costs rise, and trust is further eroded. This story is far from over. What do you think will happen next? Tell us in the comments.